All right, let's go ahead and get started. Hello, everyone. My name is Chris Kapansky, and thanks for joining us today for our partner webinar of Wealthbox, CRM, and Bridge. Today's presenters will be myself covering Wealthbox. We also have Margaret Myers on the webinar with us. We'll talk a little bit about Bridge and the integration. Just to cover the agenda for today, we will kick off today's webinar with a very quick overview of Wealthbox, after which I'll hand it off to Margaret, who will share an overview of Bridge, and after which we will open up for a Q&A session. So if you have any questions during the overviews, feel free to click on the Q&A button at the bottom of your screen. You should see that within your Zoom panel, and Margaret and I will be able to address the questions towards the end of the webinar. So I'll just jump right into it with a quick overview of Wealthbox. If anyone is interested in learning more, feel free to head over to wealthbox.com. We do hold daily full overviews of Wealthbox, as well as offer a 30-day free trial. So feel free to check that out. But for anyone that is not familiar with Wealthbox, I'll go right ahead and jump into my dashboard here. Just a little bit about Wealthbox CRM. Wealthbox is a modern, easy-to-use CRM for financial advisors. We offer complimentary migrations from any other CRM to help you get started. And as I mentioned, if you wanted to check us out, you could head on over to wealthbox.com. But right now, I'll go ahead and jump into a quick overview. So the page that we're currently on is your dashboard. The dashboard is the first page that you'll see when you first log in. And it's also the main page that you'll find yourself working out of. So just to get an idea of what we're looking at here, over on the left-hand side, you'll find your main navigation. This is where you could go into your contacts, your tasks, workflows, calendar, etc. Right below that, we'll see some of our recently viewed pages, so we could quickly link back to them if we need to. Over on the right-hand side, we'll see some of our upcoming activities. That'll include any scheduled events coming up, any active tasks or workflow steps, as well as active workflows going on. And then in the center, you'll find your publisher, as well as the associated activity stream. And the activity stream will essentially be everything that's going on within your firm. So if anyone is adding notes, creating contacts, assigning or completing tasks, this is where you could collaborate with your team, see what everyone's up to. Within these activities, you'll have the ability to add replies for internal communication. You can add a quick reply, notify them of that reply being added. It allows you to have that internal communication relate directly to that activity in question. Then back up here within that publisher, the publisher is where you can enter all sorts of CRM data into your system. So from here, you'll be adding notes, you'll be creating contacts, assigning tasks, scheduling events, as well as creating new opportunities. And all of this is really here to save you time. So you don't actually have to go into different sections here to enter any of that data. And as I mentioned, notes can be added from here. This is a great tool to essentially add those notes. It really does save you a lot of time. Notes are going to be some of the most common activities that you enter into the CRM. So just to compare this feature here to some other CRMs out there, typically when you receive a call from a client and you wanted to add a note, the process will look something like this. You would go into the search box, type in the client's name, hit enter. Now you're looking through the results, you find the client, you click on their name, you're on their page, you scroll down somewhere, find the notes section, click into a drop-down, click add a note, typically a lot of clicks. 8 or 9 clicks on average with other CRMs just to add a note. Meanwhile, in Wealthbox, 1 click into the publisher, you start typing in your note here. Then using the @ sign, you can relate that note directly to the client. So as you can see, as I'm typing in my client's name, this drop down starts narrowing down my contacts to ones that match what I'm typing in. So I could keep typing that in to keep narrowing my results down. I see my client's name at the very top. I could just go ahead and hit enter on my keyboard and finish up my note here. Now, once I have entered in my note, this could be as long as you'd like. You can add in some formatting. I could just go ahead and post that note, and that note will now cascade down into that activity stream. And as you can see, it is automatically related to that client. So I don't have to go into the client's page to add that note. But now if I do go into that client's record page, I can just click on their name from within that note. That will actually slide out a quick view of the client's most important information. But I could go ahead and click on Kevin's name from here, and that will open up the contact record page for the client. This is what all of your clients' profiles would look like. But we see from the client's page at the very top of his activity stream is that note that I had just entered a couple of seconds ago. So everything that you enter in, as long as it's related to the contact, will appear on the client's page, including those notes that are related to the client with the @mentioning feature. So as I mentioned, this is the contact record page. This is what all of those clients' profiles would look like. Every time you speak with a client, you'll probably be on this page. This is what you'd be looking at. But let's just get a quick, go over a quick run through of what we're looking at here. And at first glance, you will notice a very familiar layout with that same publisher, activity stream, and upcoming activities on the right-hand side. And that ties into how intuitive the interface of Wealthbox is. And that is something that we really try to stick to, that intuitive design, making it as easy to use Wealthbox as possible. But then because this is a client's record page at the very top, we do, of course, have the snapshot of the client's most important info. So we'll see the client's name, we'll see their household, their company, some contact information, as well as any tags that you might have applied. Tags are all customizable categories for the client. Now, if you wanted to contact the client, we do have a couple of different ways to do that here. We do have the click to call feature. There's a built-in calling feature that allows you to actually establish the call from within the CRM. So again, saving you time. Instead of having to pick up your phone to dial out to that client's number, you'll just click place call within this pop-up that appears, and that will actually call your phone. Once you answer your phone, that starts dialing out to the client's phone. And not only will that save you some time and not having to dial out to that number, but you'll also notice that it will add an activity in the activity stream, letting you know that a call was made. And then another contacting feature in here is going to be, of course, emailing. And with this email icon here, with the Wealthbox mail feature, clicking on this email icon actually slides out a compose window directly within Wealthbox. So you don't actually have to open up Outlook or Gmail to send that email. So just to share a little bit more about Wealthbox Mail, Wealthbox Mail is an email companion tool. It allows you to log into your email server within Wealthbox. So instead of having to install plugin into Outlook or Gmail, or instead of having to open up any of these email tools to send emails, everything will be built into Wealthbox. So you'll be logging into that email. From within Wealthbox, you'll see your entire inbox. You can go right into a contact that you might already have in your CRM. You can, of course, also create a new contact off of any of these emails. And of course, you have the ability to compose emails as well. So from here, I can type in my email, then I have email tracking I can enable, set reminders, plug in custom signatures, custom templates, and send that out directly from your email client. Then if we head back over to the client's record page, we will also find an email tab, which will automatically pull emails directly into the client's record page. So from here, you'll see all emails that you've sent, all emails that you've received. Everything will appear in one page. You could click through the emails, have that slide out showing you the context of the email. Then on top of all of that, if you have a next step to complete after that email, you can, of course, create an activity. So if you wanted to create a task, schedule an event, start a workflow, or create an opportunity, you could do that from here and have that link to the email itself. So that is the email tab here. We will also find some other integrations up here, including some custodians, some other account aggregators, as well as Riskalyze, VEO1. So there's a ton of integrations that you can enable to have those tabs appear here. We do also have some built-in tabs, such as the Accounts tab for manual account tracking, Files for document storage, and additional info for some more detailed information on that client. But as I did briefly mention earlier, we do have a dedicated migration team. We offer complimentary migrations. So if you already have all these details for the client, we'll actually map all of that over for you completely free of charge. So that's just a quick kind of first look run through of Wealthbox and some of the main features that you'll be using. There is definitely a lot more to Wealthbox. Wealthbox is a full-featured CRM, so if you are interested in learning more, feel free to head over to wealthbox.com and click on Start Free Trial to get started with a free trial, or book a demo for one of our daily overviews of Wealthbox. So that was just that quick run through here. I'll go ahead and bring Margaret in on the line to share a little bit about Bridge. Margaret, are you there?
Perfect. Thanks, Chris. Yep, I'm here.
Sure. All right. I went ahead and stopped sharing my screen so you could pull yours up.
Awesome. Can you see mine okay?
Perfect. Yes, I can. Thank you.
All right. Well, good afternoon, everyone. Thanks so much to Wealthbox for the opportunity to hop on here and to everyone who is joining this afternoon. So just a bit of background on Bridge to start, and then I will run through a demo of our portion, also highlighting the Wealthbox integration capabilities that we have on our end. So just a bit of background on Bridge. We are a Chicago-based software company focusing on portfolio management. The three core areas of our business are data management, so connecting with your custodian, getting the data and reconciling that data on a daily basis. Today we work with TD Ameritrade, Fidelity, Schwab, Pershing, SSG, DST, just to name a few of the custodians. So getting that data, normalizing that in our system, and then using it in our system for revenue, so helping you calculate your client billing and sending invoices out to clients. And then on the reporting side, producing client-facing reports as well as data points for you to be reviewing with clients. Our entire dashboard is built on a public API, meaning that all of the endpoints are available for us to be building out integrations, which is why we were able to build out such a strong integration with Wealthbox. So to get started, a couple of things here on the main dashboard. What we're looking at is the advisor side of the portal. We also offer a client portal where you can share reports that you've generated, invoices. There's a file sharing vault in there, but we're going to be focusing on today's webinar on the advisor side of the portal. So all of the data is coming to our system automatically from the custodians. We're doing all of the portfolio accounting and reconciliation for you and then pushing that data to the front end. When you log in on this main dashboard, you can see various firm-wide insights, starting with AUM, tracking that growth over time, and then as we move down, this cash monitoring table showing you clients that maybe have a high percentage of cash in their account. Maybe you want to look into trading that account. On the right-hand side, you're also going to get key transactions. You'll be able to click directly into those client accounts if you wanted to review those further. Things like top clients at an account or household level, top holdings across the firm, even the ability to come in here and search to see who owns a particular position and how much they own. We're continuing to evolve this firm-wide dashboard. So for our current clients, if there is feedback that you have, things that would be helpful to see at a firm-wide level, you can always click on the roadmap to see what we're working on, what's in progress. And then you can also submit ideas in here as well. So you can see several firm-wide reporting and analytics suggestions here. So we really value the feedback we get from clients and want to use that to continue to update our dashboard. On the reporting side of things, we have two formats of reporting that we offer in the system. We have web-based reports, which are our digital reports, and then we have printable reports. I have a printable report up right now. A couple of things to point out here. The printable reports are, again, our PDF format reports. The system will actually automatically run PDF reports for every account and household based on what you have set up for frequency and sub-report selection. So you'll simply come in during the onboarding process and tell us which of the sub-report options you want us to include and how often you want our system to run those reports. That way, if you have quarterly reports selected, you don't have to come into the system every single quarter end and run a batch report and drop that into the portal. The system's just doing that automatically. So if you want to run a PDF report for any point in time for a particular client meeting or client review, you can certainly do that, but we've automated the recurring monthly or quarterly reports. In order to do that, we have limited some of the customization, so I'll point that out as we're going through some of the reports. And a couple of things just to point out on the PDF side. All of the PDFs are run with your logo in the upper left-hand corner. So there's a cover page with your logo, white labeled PDF reports. And then again, you can choose which of the sub-reports, so which of these pages are included in your reporting package. Some things you can customize, benchmarks. We have benchmarking available for all of our clients just as part of the package. You can do individual single index benchmarks. You can create blended benchmarks. We could have 5 benchmarks on here if we wanted to. So lots of flexibility there on the benchmarking. Another question we get asked on the performance side of things is what type of performance is in the system. It's time-weighted performance, and we can preserve performance if you are coming over from another tool. That's part of our standard onboarding process, is taking that performance data that you've been tracking in another system and preserving that in ours. There are a few custodial feeds that allow us to go back a couple of years for performance history as well. So if you're not using a tool today, there's still an option for historical performance returns in our system. One other report I wanted to point out on the PDF side is this 4-quadrant report that we have. So this is a snapshot report. Some of our advisors are just using this as a snapshot summary, has a lot of colorful charts and graphs on here, as well as a quick summary of change in value for the account with those performance returns down at the bottom. Again, totally up to you as to what PDF reports you're including in your package. These are just some samples. One other thing to point out here is the asset classification categories. That's another thing that you can customize within the dashboard. Right now, the system will default to equity, fixed income, cash, or other, but you can see we've added 3 custom classifications down at the bottom. If I wanted to reclassify from equity to large cap, small cap, or US international, same thing with fixed income. So that is something that is flexible in the system. Moving on then to our web-based reports. We have the same sub-report options on the web-based side as we do the PDF side. The web-based report is just meant to be a resource for advisors to be able to come in and check the performance, check the activity within a client account or household. So if a client calls in, instead of logging into your custodian, you could come into Atlas, our system, navigate to the web reports and see all of this information here. Again, we're updating through previous close of business, so the system is automatically updating all of this for you. Another thing to note here on the web-based reports, any of these white cards you see, that's a sub-report, and that sub-report can be shared to the client portal. So if you want a client to be able to log in and view this information, again, updated by the custodial data that we're getting each day, any of these reports can be shared to the client side. A lot of this data is going to be very similar to what we saw on the PDF side. Again, you've got performance charts with different benchmarks if you wanted to add those in. This is really where I want to highlight the Wealthbox integration. So say you're looking at this client report and you're preparing for a review. When you go through this report, if you come down to this appraisals or holdings report, you can see this is where we have all of our cost basis information. I can even go down to the individual positions or lots if I wanted to see those in here as well. But say I'm in this account or this household, if I sort through by unrealized gain or loss, and I identify a position I want to talk to the client about, I can come over to my notes section. And similar to what Chris showed on the note tagging in Wealthbox, the same applies for our system. Start typing that client's name in here. The system will recognize those client names. You'll type your note, press create, and then that note will go directly back into Wealthbox. That way you don't have to pull up another screen, log into Wealthbox, find the client contact, type your note, and then come back to Bridge and wonder what you were even doing in here in the first place. So really try to streamline that workflow and that note-taking process as much as possible. The next feature that we focus on is revenue, so billing your clients. Our system has flexible fee structures. We allow you to customize how you're billing those clients. So whether it's a flat rate, a tiered rate, a flat dollar amount fee, you can even do multiple fee structures on a single account if you're doing some AUM-based fees plus a fixed planning fee. So lots of flexibility on the fee structures themselves as well as how households are billed. So if one account should be paying for a fee, if a client brought over a legacy position that you don't want to bill on, all of those customizations we can help configure into our billing process. The way that advisors run billing on our system at the end of each month or quarter is they'll come in and they'll select the time period that they're running the billing for. So say you're running quarterly billing, you would select September of 2020 and leave this box checked if you want invoices created. Down here, it's telling me that I have 5 accounts that have fee structure or that need a fee structure and billing group assignment. When new accounts are opened and funded at the custodian, they will automatically feed into Bridge. And so they will need a fee structure assignment before you can run the billing on them. This is just reminding you to do that before you run billing. Once that's done, I would click Run Firm Billing. It would take a couple of minutes for the system to run the billing calculation, and then you would get a billing report. This billing report serves as the audit trail. So this is going to be saved in the system on an ongoing basis. So if you do get audited in the future, this system has all of those billing records recorded. You can just show that to an auditor if necessary. It's also a great spot to come in and do your review before uploading the fees to your custodian, showing you the summary of the total fees we've calculated, highlighting accounts with low or insufficient cash, and then breaking down how we calculated that fee. Lots of additional columns in here. So if you wanted to track open date, if you have multiple advisors, we can split out the revenue based on any revenue sharing or splits that you have. So lots of data that you can review in here. And we make that available either in this digital format, or if you want to click the download button, you can download that directly to Excel and do your review in there. In addition to the billing report, you'll also get invoices. Those are automatically generated and automatically posted to the client portal if you're using that. If you click this download button, that will give you a zip file of individual invoices if you have a client that wants to be emailed or mailed a hard copy of those. Otherwise, again, they are automatically posted to the portal. And then fee upload file, by downloading this button, you will get a pre-formatted file for your custodian that you can load in and continue billing directly through your custodian if you're going with the auto debit process. Lots of other details and customizations we can go through on the billing side of things. So if you are interested in seeing more about our system, have particular questions, Chris will be putting up my contact information at the end. Happy to answer any questions that you have either on the advisor dashboard capabilities or the client portal as well.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Margaret, thanks so much for joining in here today and hosting this webinar with us today. And everyone else, thank you all so much for joining in and submitting your questions. We always appreciate the attendance and the great questions. But on top of all of that, Margaret, again, thanks so much for hopping on here with me.
Thanks, Chris, and thanks so much to everyone that joined.
All right, everyone, have a great day. Goodbye.
Take care. Bye-bye.